YouTube mushroom lovers, Jewel here, Funky Fungi. Quick video. I always start off with quick video. It could be 30 minutes long. Anyway, this is all about humidity. A lot of people will say, well, what humidity should I have my grow at? Or, you know, I was asking my buddy at one point, we have the same misting system, and I was asking him, well, how often do you have it running, and how often is your resting period or the off period? And I was like, like mine is like really different, so let me change mine to his. And we have to get away from that thinking, because one thing that I've noticed, I mean, it's, when you think about it, it's a no-brainer. I just wasn't thinking of it this way. I'll explain. I'm having some, not issues, but I'm having some changes right now with the temperature in my grow room. I'm messing with it a little bit. It was at a constant 67. Now it's raised, it's like in the 70s. I'm bringing it back down. That's a whole other issue. So one thing I noticed, when it was in the 70s, you don't want your humidification system, no matter what it is, you don't want the shelving or whatever dripping wet. You don't want water like dripping down on your mushrooms. That means that the humidity level is too high. When I'm always checking to make sure that my humidity level is where I want to be, especially if it's like too wet, I'll literally all day, in an 8-hour day, I'll take a towel, wipe off the shelves or whatever, you know, change my humidity level, like mess with it in whatever way I feel I need to, and then I'll come back and see. An hour later, 2 hours later, are there lots of droplets? It's still too high, dial it back, you know, that kind of thing. And just, I'll take sometimes all day to do that. I'll put on my, so my system now, I used to have a humidistat, and I would set it, you know, it turns on at 87% humidity, turns off at 92%. The system I have now, you can't do that. It's an on and off type feature. So I would literally measure like, okay, let me have it run for a minute and mess around with the off time. And so I would time it out because the meter is, it's very difficult to tell how many minutes it's at. So bottom line, I changed my temperature. The temperature went up. I didn't do anything to my humidification system, right? It stayed exactly where it was when I had it at 67 degrees. What happened? When I came in this morning, everything's wet and dripping. You don't need to see it, just take my word for it. Everything in there's totally wet. All the shelves are wet. There's the floor, I mean, puddles everywhere. And the only thing that changed was that the temperature rose. So if we recall, you know, the air conditioning, whatever type you have, it pulls out the humidity from the air as it cools the air off. So because I'm cooling less, that means the air itself is more humid without me even needing to do anything. So if you're going to raise the temperature, or lower for that matter, you also have to change your humidification, and it's an inverse relationship. You need to change it unless you want to actually change, you know, as long as you like your humidity level where it's at before you make that temperature change, you need to do an inverse relationship on increasing or decreasing your humidity level. So I was at a minute on, maybe like 9 minutes off. Now I'm gonna be a minute on. It's probably gonna be more like 20 minutes off, like double the time, so that I don't have all those water droplets, yet it's still humid enough in the room that I feel comfortable. I don't even have a humidistat anymore. I know by the look and the feel of the mushrooms at this point where it should be. You know, I don't. So someone asked me like, oh, is it 89%? Is it 94%? I don't know. It's humid. It's very humid, but it's right before that point where you got a whole lot of droplets. Am I going to have some droplets? Yes. Where do I have droplets? I have droplets where my fans blow. That's generally where you're going to see your droplets, because remember, the fan is kind of moving all that air around, and it's pushing around all that humid, moist air. So generally, wherever that fan is kind of pointed to mostly, that shelving unit is going to have the most amount of droplets. That's my humidification system that just kicked on. So yeah. Anyways, I hope this is helpful. Inverse relationship. If you like where your humidity is at and you change the temperature, do an inverse relationship with how much your humidification is coming on or off, and you should be in good shape. Take care, guys. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. If you haven't, you're whack if you have not subscribed yet. I'm just saying. Thanks again. Love you guys. Bye.